Here we have the beautiful Racquet and Tennis Club, and it was designed by Charles Follen McKim, and it was an Italian Renaissance style, and this was a representative of the ornate clubs that were in existence about 120 years ago. And it performs an important architectural role on Park Avenue, as it's a great contrast to the building right across the street from it, the Seagram building, which is a modern glass building, and also the Lever House, which is another modern glass building. This is the Lever House here. You can see it was recently reclad in more modern glass, but it's also a landmark because they want to keep it a certain way. And then, as I said, right behind or right next to this building is the Seagram building, and we'll take a look at the Seagram building because it's like just a great historic building, landmark. This is the Seagram building here. In comparison to the Tennis and Racquet Club, which is from 120, 150 years ago. Beautiful fountains at the Seagram building on Park Avenue. Construction on this building began in 1916, and it was completed on September 7th of 1918, and the builder was Mark Edlitz, and the costs $400,000 to build this building. Now you might say that's amazing, but 1918, 1916, that was probably a lot of money. And the interior structure is steel, but the exterior structure is stone and brick, and the dimensions of the building are about 200 feet long by 100 feet deep. And what ended up happening, they had air rights, but they sold it to the hotel right behind the building. You can see this beautiful glass hotel right behind the building. And so today there's 4 international squash courts, and 1 North American double squash court, and 1 racket court, and 2 tennis courts inside the building. That's just amazing to think about that. And this is still a private club, a men's only private club. So they're adhering to the ideas of how private clubs were many years ago. Now, many of the other private clubs have become both men and women in New York, but some of the clubs have adhered to their old traditions of staying private. And it's just amazing how you have this ornate building next to so many modern buildings. And you can see here, looking further south, all the modern buildings that are around here. It's just amazing seeing this. And again, a quick look at the Lever House, which is also a landmark. We have another beautiful view of the Tennis and Racquet Club from 53rd and Park Avenue. You can see the ornate design. Just amazing. And just as a reminder, it's 200 feet along Park Avenue, 100 feet deep. So it's a beautiful building, 5 stories, but just amazing. Private club, men's only private club. And that behind it is a beautiful hotel. And as I mentioned earlier, they had acquired the air rights from the building to be able to build the hotel much higher than it should be. And you can see, looking south, what a great view the members of the club have once they exit the club. Have an even closer view of this beautiful Italianate structure. Just for everyone to see the detail of what architecture looked like in 1916, 1918. What a great job. Now, of course, the craftsmanship back then was a lot different than the craftsmanship now, and it was all a matter of the cost of labor. Cost of labor was much lower then than it is now. To do something like this now would be far too costly for any developer. Still closer view of the tennis and racket club. Just to get a sense of the architecture. And on the ground floor, of course, they've leased out space to retail establishments, good retail establishments, because they can get a lot of revenue from leasing it out on the ground floor, leasing out the retail space on the ground floor. But you can see the classic architecture here, just amazing.